Peace. Welcome to the YouTube live book reading of The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Dr. CHEIKH and edited and translated by Mercer Cook. Divine days and nights. Peace, peace. So thankful and grateful for all I have now and all that is coming to me. So thankful and grateful. So we pick up in this 10th chapter on page 224 at the top. For those reading along and also in the playlist, I will put a brief vocabulary of this reading when it's complete uploading. Thank you for being here. It's going to be a great one. I can feel it. All right. We're coming in for the landing of this chapter. Here we go. The top of page 224. I'm your moderator and narrator, Uriel Riley. Divine days and nights. Thank you for being here. All right. Even relatively less harsh social regimes have engendered uprisings all over the world. In that sense, all societies have developed sufficiently to generate seeds of disruption. Apparently, the failure of these authentic revolutions everywhere except in the Greco-Roman world may be attributable to a single residual factor: the more or less appropriate size of the national territory involved. It was easier for a Greek city to become saturated with slaves because of the smallness and proximity of the cities, and because of the Greek constitutions, which, without exception, made every alien a slave. Perhaps the moment is not far distant when we will begin to have the elements of a satisfactory reply to the problem caused by the peculiar nature of Greco-Latin political and social evolution. Perhaps the final explanation will simply lead to a factor of individualistic nomadic selfishness, the blindness of which could not fail to create social catastrophe early, if not immediately. That social catastrophe, capitalist slavery, compelled man to forge the political instruments for his liberation, to find a way out for the entire human species. Yoruba society, as described by Leo Frobenius in Mythologique de l'Antiquité, Chapter 4, is one that could furnish a mine of important information on the political, social African past. Toward the end, the king exercised a purely nominal authority over all the cities that made up his kingdom. Each city was in reality an autonomous unit, governed by the president, or ballet, and a senate formed by the assembly of notables. Next to the king, who lived in Oyo, the capital, the high priest, the Oni of Efe, was a venerable personage whose prestige and power practically equaled the king's. It would be helpful to know whether This shrinkage of royal power proceeded or resulted from the British occupation. In the former case, it could be a matter of budding federation or the decline of a kingdom that had already reached its apogee. The city regimes were mere constitutional kingdoms. Whatever Frobenius may think, they were not republics in the Greco Latin sense of the word. The fact that not one of them attempted its revolution and the homogeneity of their political social structure attests to an ancient federal link, effective through relatively discreet, though, yes, as a matter of fact, real autonomy at that time would have increased the possibility of social upheaval because of the urban structure. Could the extraordinary development and relative individualism of Yoruba society be linked in part to that peculiar political structure? In the final analysis, the common denominator found in economics of the Asiatic type, Black Africa, China, India, pre Columbian America, Iran, etc., is the absence of slavery in the full sense of the term as a means of production. Thus, the resulting social situations are hardly revolutionary. Secondly, the size of the territory condemns insurrectional movements in advance, even if the situation happens to be explosive. In the Western sense, the feudal system is but a poorly disguised variant of the slave system. This is the fundamental determining factor of historical social evolution, in that it invariably creates capitalist production, which leads to revolution that in turn gravitates to socialism. Consequently, to understand the revolutionary situation of antique societies, we must study the factors that have restricted the growth of this system in certain societies or stimulated its development in others. The Greek state was founded from birth on slavery and the intangibility of private land ownership. In contrast, the appearance of the state with an Asiatic economic system, as described by Marx and Engels, shows that it did not spring abruptly from the brutal contact of two races, one of which enslaved the other, and thus created from the outset the conditions for the development of the class struggle and private property. It is the result of organizing, however, a common sedentary life among citizens of the same territory. These initial conditions are unfavorable to the appearance of national slavery or the selfish, ill regulated, overgrown development of private property. Having too much, again, that's what he's talking about. It, it was regulating those from not having too much. Thank you so much for being here, and gratitude for the likes. Hi, it's Heart Love. Welcome to the peaceful part of YouTube where we read books and learn from masters. And I'm master fitness trainer, Uriel Riley. Gratitude. We are on 225, the page, and the chapter 10 of The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Dr. Sheikh Entajab. And so we're about to close out this chapter. Thank you so much for being here, reading with us. Much love. Peace, everyone. I hope the sound and sights are Epic for you. For obvious reasons, the second type of state has existed more often than the first, and the reasons for it are more clearly visible. That is why the Greco Latin state was a historical exception as against the more general type. The Indo Europeans were unable to create a slave regime in Iran and India as extensively as in Greece and Rome because they were unable to occupy those countries in sufficient numbers. In sum, it suffices for societies with an Asiatic mode of production to be reduced into slavery, for them to insert themselves into the historical cycle of humanity. The worldwide emancipation of all the former European colonies, which, without exception, were dependent on the means of production, illustrates this idea. It was slavery, in the Western sense, that made a Prometheus of Toussaint Louverture. Toussaint Louverture, 1743 through 1803, precursor of Haitian independence. Wendell Phillips called him the soldier, the statesman, the martyr. We reached the end of the chapter, and we do have some more picks. And this one I know you're going to love. The Sphinx and the Great Pyramid, Horm Akeb and the Myrrh. Thank you so much for being here and reading with us. This 10th chapter closed it out. The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Dr. CHEIKH and. There you go. Look at that. Horm Akhet and the Great. And this is 42. That was 44. Monumental entrances to Pharaoh Zolzer's mortuary temple. With the step pyramid of Saqqara, they inaugurate the era of great architecture in hewn stone. 45. This step pyramid of Pharaoh Zolzer's. Awesome. Oh my goodness, this is so fly. Man, I love this life. I love reading to y'all. It really is so fly. Getting ready to put out my new book. It's just all in a perfect alignment. I'm so grateful and thankful. All right, this is 46. Cretan art, 7th century BCE. This clearly shows Egyptian influence. Now you see the braids and the nose. Thank you so much. Gratitude and highest heart love for reading with us in this peaceful part of YouTube where we read books live from the light. Thank you for the likes and subs. We're pushing towards 700 now. Wow. You think you get able to see the first books? Barely. The first book put me into 150 plus. And then the second, that boosted me up a little bit more. Thank you so much for reading with us. We've completed the 10th chapter, live from the light. When we reconvene, we'll go into chapter 11. I'm so excited to go in this. We'll let this settle into you for a little bit. The African origin of civilization, myth or reality. We want to go out in the world to shine our light, right? So thankful and grateful. All of you, all those that read books, we are shaking it up on YouTube, reading books, right? And continue to shake it up. Let them see you have the ability to do it. That's what smiling does. Helps us shine our light. So we want to continue to power up. That's one thing I want to make sure I get through to y'all. I do this a lot. Make sure you power all the way up, which means getting rest, which means drinking water. Power all the way up and then go shine your light. And you'll see a big difference as opposed to, not all the way charged up. So grateful and thankful for all the friends. Happy love water to all those solar returns, as well as those that have elevated, that are lovers of us, that are friends and family, that we really hold dear to our heart. Glass of love water to honor you. Thank you so much. Highest heart love. I love you. I love you. I love you. Wonderful love water. We completed another chapter. Yes. Chapter 10. So grateful and thankful. Thank you for reading with us. Part of the book lovers community here, live from the light. I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will see you soon, right? Tonight, we are going. Because, oh, man, so powerful. And I was like, all right, let's do it again. Let's go. We're going to go to the soft yellow cloud, all right? Yes. We're going to make some love water. Go to the soft lemon cloud. I will see you there, all right? Much love. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Love, 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 love you. Ay, 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 ay. Love, 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 love. You, 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 you. You know, because I love myself doing it. Stay charged up, all right? I will see you in the soft yellow cloud. Peace, peace.